Welcome to Islam with Aslan, where we explore the hidden and remarkable journeys of Islam across time and geography. Today, we uncover the lesser-known but deeply compelling history of Islam in South America, from early explorers and African slaves to immigrants and present-day communities. The story of Islam in this continent is one of perseverance, cultural blending, and faith. If this is the kind of history you want to learn more about, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to Islam with Aslan for more thought-provoking content. Islam's introduction to South America did not begin with mass conversions or conquest, but arrived subtly through the people who came to the continent, often unwillingly or as economic migrants. The first Muslims likely arrived not long after the start of the transatlantic slave trade in the early 1500s. Among the estimated 4 to 5 million enslaved Africans brought to Brazil alone, a significant number came from West African regions like present-day Nigeria and Senegal, where Islam had already been practiced for centuries. One of the most notable early Muslim populations in South America were the Hausa and Yoruba Muslims brought to Brazil during the 18th and early 19th centuries. These Muslims were literate in Arabic, observed prayers, and maintained elements of their faith under extremely difficult conditions. Many scholars point to the Malê Revolt of 1835 in Salvador, Bahia, as a significant moment in the history of Islam in Brazil. The revolt was led by enslaved African Muslims known as Malays, who sought to fight against oppression and reclaim their dignity. Although the rebellion was suppressed, it demonstrated the resilience of the Islamic faith even in conditions of bondage. During this same period, European colonizers were often unaware of the religious identities of African slaves, many of whom carried Quranic knowledge and traditions. The Muslims among them tried to preserve their religious practices by gathering in secret, writing in Arabic, and teaching Islam within their communities. These early South American Muslims left behind Arabic manuscripts and Islamic amulets known as grigri, showing the preservation of religious knowledge despite adversity. By the late 19th and early 20th centuries, a new wave of Muslims arrived in South America, not as slaves but as immigrants, and between 1870 and 1930, thousands of Arabs emigrated from the Ottoman territories of present-day Lebanon, Syria, and Palestine. Though the majority of these Arab migrants were Christian, a significant minority were Muslims who settled across the continent, particularly in countries like Argentina, Brazil, Colombia, and Venezuela. They came in search of economic opportunities and political stability, and many became successful merchants and entrepreneurs. Argentina became home to one of the largest Arab Muslim populations in South America. By the early 20th century, the Muslim community there had grown large enough to establish formal institutions. In 1931, the Islamic Center of the Argentine Republic was founded in Buenos Aires, which later became a key organization for representing Muslim interests in the country. In 1983, the King Fahd Islamic Cultural Center was inaugurated in Buenos Aires, one of the largest mosques in Latin America, funded by Saudi Arabia and serving as a cultural and religious hub. In Brazil, the Arab Muslim community also developed strong roots. São Paulo and Foz do Iguaçu became key centers of Muslim life. The Mesquita Brazil, located in São Paulo and opened in 1960, was the first mosque built in Brazil and has since been central to Islamic education and community building. In Foz do Iguaçu, near the tri-border area with Paraguay and Argentina, a large Lebanese Muslim population established a vibrant community with multiple mosques and Islamic schools. in neighboring Colombia and Venezuela. Muslim immigrants from Lebanon and Syria established commercial networks and settled in urban centers. Although smaller in number, these communities built mosques and began to integrate Islamic values with local cultural norms. In Colombia, the Muslim community in Maicao, in the La Guajira department, became prominent. The Mosque of Omar Ibn al-Khattab was built there in 1997 and remains one of the largest mosques in South America. Another unique chapter in the history of Islam in South America is found in the Caribbean nations that are culturally and geographically tied to the continent. Countries such as Guyana and Suriname, located on the northeastern coast of South America, have substantial Muslim populations. Unlike their neighbors, Islam in these countries arrived primarily through indentured laborers from the Indian subcontinent, brought by the British and Dutch colonial powers during the 19th century. After the abolition of slavery in Guyana, Muslims make up around 7% of the population. The first Indian Muslims arrived in 1838 and quickly organized religious life, building mosques and establishing Islamic schools. Similar developments took place in Suriname, where about 15% of the population is Muslim today. These communities have maintained strong ties to Islamic traditions while participating actively in national politics, education, and public life. The 20th century also witnessed the conversion of local South Americans to Islam, often inspired by interaction with Muslim neighbors, global events, or through spiritual search. In countries like Chile, Peru, and Ecuador, small numbers of native converts began to appear and new mosques were built to accommodate growing interest in Islam. The establishment of Islamic organizations has played a crucial role in maintaining Islamic identity and educating both Muslims and non-Muslims alike. Groups like the Latin American Islamic Institute, established in Brazil in the 1980s, and the Islamic Organization of Latin America, based in Argentina, have worked to promote Islamic knowledge, interfaith dialogue, and humanitarian efforts. In the digital age, Islam has continued to grow across South America through online outreach, community engagement, and education. Youth in Argentina, Brazil, Colombia, and other countries now have greater access to Islamic knowledge and are actively forming online communities and platforms to share their experiences and grow in faith. Despite being a minority religion in a predominantly Catholic and Christian region, Islam in South America has made significant contributions to cultural diversity, interfaith dialogue, and social development. Muslim communities have been involved in business, medicine, education, and charitable work, while also preserving their religious traditions and sharing them peacefully with wider society. Today, South America is home to an estimated 4 to 5 million Muslims, with the largest populations in Brazil and Argentina. Though their numbers may be small compared to other regions, the strength and resilience of South American Muslims from the time of the Malê Revolt to the modern day is a testament to the enduring message of Islam brought by the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Thank you for joining us on Islam with Aslan as we explored the inspiring and often overlooked story of Islam in South America. If you found this content enlightening, please like the video, leave a comment with your thoughts or questions, and subscribe to the channel for more engaging journeys into Islamic history across the globe. Until next time, peace be upon you.